Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my player ratings from our 1-1 draw with AC Milan in the Europa League round of 16 first leg. So Dean Henderson, will give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he made some good saves in the game. Could have done better though with the equalising goal from AC Milan in stoppage time. People will probably say if De Gea would have been in net, maybe he would have saved it. There was actually 2 goals from AC Milan that were disallowed. One for offside, and the other one was a handball from Kessie. It was a good volley, by the way. So he was beaten twice there. Paul Scholes, by the way, has come out and he said we should have replaced De Gea with Dean Henderson earlier on in the season. I think Dean Henderson should now be our number 1 because he's reliable enough to become our number 1. I think he's done well in the games he's played in this season. You know, he's got the experience behind him and he's got a lot of development in him. He's set for a run of games now, Dean Henderson, because De Gea's not available due to personal reasons. So 7 out of 10 for Dean Henderson. And Wan-Bissaka, we'll give him a 6 out of 10. I don't think he was brilliant tonight. Like I said on the match reaction, you know, maybe he did get forward at times. Defensively at times as well, did quite good. But I know Wan-Bissaka can perform better than that. Eric Bay, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I was very impressed with him tonight. Defensively, he was good. He was also very effective in the air. Harry Maguire, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. I think he got caught out a couple of times in the game. Also missed an absolute sitter, did Maguire. Hit the post from 1 yard out. I think that's the worst miss I've seen in football history. So yeah, just a 5 out of 10 for him. You know, we overpaid for Harry Maguire. He wasn't worth the £80 million that we got him for. Alex Telles, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. You know, I don't think he was great tonight. I thought his deliveries were quite poor. Alex Telles has played nowhere near as much as I expected. You know, when we got Alex Telles, I thought he was going to be our first choice left back. You know, turns out Luke Shaw's still our first choice left back. But I prefer Shaw to Telles anyway because he gets forward better than Telles. So just a 5 out of 10 for Telles. Nemanja Matic, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. Thought he really struggled tonight. Very, very quiet he was, Matic. Scott McTominay, he's going to get a 5 out of 10. Gotta say, he struggled tonight and he was out of his depth at times. Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Put a pretty good performance out tonight. Obviously got the assist for Amad Diallo Traore's goal. It was a lovely ball from Bruno Fernandes. And it was a good header by Amad Diallo Traore. So 7 out of 10 for Bruno Fernandes. Daniel James, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. I don't think he was great tonight. He had a fantastic chance in the game, but he didn't convert it. You know, it went wide. And he should be scoring that, Daniel James. Daniel James has been playing a lot in the last month or so, because at one point he lost his place in the team. So just a 4 out of 10 for Daniel James, I'm afraid. Mason Greenwood, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I don't think he was at his best tonight. Greenwood created very, very little. And that seldom happens when it comes to Greenwood, because I think in the vast majority of Greenwood's games since he broke into the first team, he's been very, very consistent. Anthony Martial, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought Martial was quite good tonight. Martial did have a fantastic chance. It did produce a good save from Donnarumma. Martial also put a very good performance out against Man City. He had 2 fantastic chances in that one. Should have converted at least one of them. He's just not clinical enough in front of goal, Anthony Martial. But to his credit, like I said, he's done well tonight and he did well against City. So if these performances can persist, then I'll change my perception on Martial and say, no, don't sell him in the summer. Keep him potentially past the summer. We brought substitutions on in the game. I think we brought 4 substitutions on. We obviously saw Luke Shaw come on. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Williams come on. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Fred come on. I'll give him a 6 out of 10. And Amad Diallo Traore came on, and I'll give him a 8 out of 10. That's obviously reflecting on his goal. More than all is that rating. His goal was fantastic. It was a very, very good header from Amad Diallo Traore, by the way. That's his first goal for Manchester United. He looks a good asset in the first team. We got Amad Diallo Traore in a deal worth £37 million. We paid £19 million up front, and obviously there was add-ons included. So that is your player ratings from our 1-1 draw with AC Milan. It was definitely an average performance by Man United. Like I said on the match reaction, AC Milan totally dominated that first half. Milan did have some very, very good chances in the game. The player that scored their equaliser, I can't pronounce his name, he had a good game. Kessie definitely had a good game. He was causing problems. But certainly now, AC Milan have the upper hand, because they have got that vital away goal. We should have won the game. We conceded in the 92nd minute of stoppage time. I think, by the way, Anthony Martial went off injured in the game, and Martial's just recently come back from injury. We do play AC Milan in the second leg at the San Siro on the 18th of March. That's going to be a very, very difficult game. Like I said, AC Milan have got a few players out with injury. There was no Zlatan tonight because he's been out with injury. I think Stefano Pioli will be hopeful that Ibrahimovic will be available for the second leg. He was hopeful that he was going to be available for the first leg. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, he's injured. Ben Asa, he's injured. I think Rebic's also injured. Theo Hernandez recently got injured. So yeah, they've got key players out with injury. And if they'd have had them players available for tonight, then maybe Milan would have won the game. A draw's not the worst result, because let's put into the equation, AC Milan are a good team. They've won the Champions League 7 times. They're sitting second in Serie A. That Stefano Pioli he's doing a good job at AC Milan. He's been AC Milan manager since October 2019. Tonight was the first time we played AC Milan in 11 years. We played AC Milan in the last 16 of the Champions League back in the 2009-10 season. We won 7-2 on aggregate because we beat AC Milan 4-0 at Old Trafford and beating them 3-2 at the San Siro. You know, AC Milan's last win at Old Trafford was back in the 2004-5 season. But tonight I expected a much better performance by Man United. The only positive is really, you know, Amad Traore coming on and scoring his first Man United goal, and there were some other good performers. But we did have a lot of confidence coming into this game because we did have a very, very good win against Man City, you know, beating them 2-0. It wasn't only a good result against City, it was a very, very good performance by Man United. And I was surprised the way Solskjaer approached the game against City because I wasn't expecting him to approach the game the way he did. He showed tactical flexibility. We ended Man City's 21 match winning run and we are unbeaten in our last 22 Premier League away games. So we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We've obviously got players missing. Do you think that's excusable for tonight's performance? Obviously, there was no Cavani tonight. He's injured. Cavani's missed quite a few games recently due to injury. Solskjaer said he wasn't going to be involved in tonight's game. There's still no Paul Pogba. He's got a thigh injury. The last game Paul Pogba played was the 3-3 draw with Everton. And we lack creativity in that midfield without Paul Pogba. We're too defensive. Donny van de Beek, I forgot to mention him on Match Reaction. He's also another player that's missing. He's got a muscular problem. Even if Van de Beek had been available, he probably wouldn't have played tonight. Because Donny van de Beek seldom plays. You know, most of Donny van de Beek's appearances have come from the bench. Well, maybe he would have been involved, but he certainly wouldn't have started, I don't think. Obviously, Juan Mata's out, but Juan Mata doesn't get in the team anyway. You know, we've got Phil Jones, that's out. Rashford, he was a miss tonight. You know, Rashford's got an ankle injury. He sustained that in our 2-0 win against Man City. He did have the scans on his ankle, but it turned out that it wasn't as severe as we first thought. He said there was no ligament damage on his ankle, it was just bruised and swollen. You know, Rashford could miss the game on Sunday against West Ham, and De Gea's obviously out due to personal reasons. Tonight, Solskjaer made 4 changes from the 2-0 win against Man City. But certainly the Europa League is a priority for Man United because it is a chance of us getting a trophy on the board. You know, Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and he's been Man United manager over 2 years. And we haven't won a trophy since 2017. Are we considered as one of the favourites to win the Europa League? I think AC Milan are actually one of the favourites to win it. You know, we won the Europa League back in 2017 under Mourinho. You know, we got to the semi-finals last season, lost 2-1 to Sevilla. But yeah, our focus now is on Sunday's game against West Ham in the Premier League, and that's going to be a tough game because West Ham have surprised a hell of a lot of people this season. They've been very, very good. You know, West Ham are in the top 4 race. I don't see them getting top 4 because I don't think they're good enough, but to David Moyes' credit, he's doing very, very well in his second spell at West Ham. The preview for that game, by the way, will be coming up at some point tomorrow. Top 4 is our aim in the league. I can almost assure we will finish in the top 4, reflecting on that win against Man City. But top 4 is not assured as yet. Wouldn't it be a disaster if we finished out of the top 4? I said, if we can win a trophy this season and we can finish second, I'll turn around and say that represents a good season for Man United, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. But you can identify the weaknesses in the squad. I think in the summer transfer window, we need a centre-half and we need a forward. So they are the two priorities. And this year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. I think there's a good chance he'll get the backing that he deserves, because obviously we've got a director of footballing. It's John Murtough. And John Murtough knows the culture of the club because he has been at Man United for 7 years. It's actually our first ever director of football. It's about time we got one in, because we was looking for a director of football for a while. And I did mention, didn't I, that it's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club. But the board are backing Solskjaer anyway, because Woodward did a statement saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, he is backing him. But Solskjaer's not been backed enough so far in the transfer windows he has endured. So far Ole has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. Solskjaer, don't forget, sent a warning saying that we may not do business as usual in the summer transfer window due to the pandemic. And he said he's only interested in bringing in players that would be a perfect fit for the club. Now, obviously, you know the news on Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. Narratives have been coming out saying that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Rafael Varane this summer on one condition. Rafael Varane must inform Real Madrid about his decision to leave before Real Madrid can enter negotiations with Man United. The AS have come out and said today that Rafael Varane wants to make a move to the Premier League in the summer. Madrid have been in talks over extending his contract, but contract talks have not settled. I think Rafael Varane is valued at £61 million, is it? OK Dairo said last month that Real Madrid had reduced their asking price for Rafael Varane to £43 million. But there has been quite a few clubs that have been in for him. I'd certainly take him at Man United because I think he'd go very, very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. Pau Torres from Villarreal, he's been the latest centre-half to be on our agenda. Jules Koundé, he's been on our agenda in recent months. Sergio Ramos from Real Madrid's been on our agenda. You know the news on Erling Haaland. You know the news on Jadon Sancho. I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like I've said to you already, I don't think he's a long-term manager for Man United. But I think he does deserve at least another season at the football club. I think he's here to stay. I think we are set to hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a new 3-year contract. Solskjaer's into the final 18 months now of his current contract. Does he deserve a new contract? You know, we've actually had very, very good periods under Solskjaer where we've actually looked consistent. You know, there's been some games where he's got the best out of the team during them good periods. And he's improved certain players as Solskjaer. But we've also enjoyed very, very bad periods under him where you can turn around and say he was lucky not to be sacked. My two big concerns about Ole is his decision making, and he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. You know, don't get me wrong, reflecting now on Solskjaer's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. You know, Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job. He knew he had to come in and bring consistency back. He knew he had to come in and get the right players in. And I said, you know, he has made some good signs. He knew he had to come in and get rid of a lot of the dead wood. And to his credit, he has got rid of a lot of the dead wood. You know, he's Solskjaer in a position he shouldn't be really in. You know, did we give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job too soon? Should we wait until the end of that season to decide on whether to give him the job? You know, we give him the job permanently though, reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager. But we've got to credit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in quite a few aspects. You know, look what he did last season in his first full season. Got us a third place finish. Got us qualification for the Champions League and guided us to 3 semi-finals. You know, look what he's done so far this season, his second full season. You know, got us to the FA Cup quarter-finals within the Europa League last 16. You know, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, lost 2-0 to City. You know, we're second in the Premier League. At one point, Solskjaer got us top of the Premier League for the first time in like 7.5, 8 years. But obviously, we're not in the title race now because there was a period where we dropped far too many points. And we've got a fantastic away record. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. So we've got to credit Solskjaer in them aspects. But like I've said to you before, we haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired. We really, really haven't. And like I've said to you, no one will do what Ferguson did. No one will last as long as Ferguson did. Ferguson enjoyed a 27-year tenure at Man United, won a total of 30-odd trophies, including 13 Premier League. So Ferguson brought success to the club. And a lot of United fans predicted that we was going to go downhill when Ferguson retired, which we did. You know, before Ferguson was inconsistent. You know, mistakes have been made since Ferguson retired, and that's one of the main explanations why we have been inconsistent. You know, like I said, I think our recruitment policy's been poor for a while. Hopefully, in the summer that will all change. You know, we've certainly overpaid for players. And none of the managers have been back to enough since Ferguson retired. We brought around, 37 players in since Ferguson retired, and I think the vast majority of them players haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. Maybe you can turn around and say there's some players we've brought in who we let go, who we shouldn't have let go. Maybe we should have kept Herrera and Lukaku. So yeah, Ferguson made one mistake, and that was ever recommending David Moyes in. But he recommended him in at the time because there was both Scottish and just for some reason Ferguson seemed to have a lot of time for David Moyes. You know, don't forget Ole is our 4th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson. That was David Moyes, sacked him after 10 months. He enjoyed the shortest tenure at the club. He was the worst manager we've ever had. You know, sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years despite him winning the FA Cup, and we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. I give you the reasons it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players, and the board just weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in. And like I said, in the summer transfer window of this year, we're going to sell more players. So, like I said, I think there's a good chance Juan Mata will leave the club. Pogba could still leave, but may not leave. Matic, we could offload him. Jones, I think we should get rid of him. Do you think we should get rid of Romero? You know, Tuanzebe is another player maybe we should get rid of because he doesn't get in our 11. I think there's been narratives of him possibly going out on loan. You know, Cavani, there's a good chance he's going to leave in the summer, reflecting on what his father's recently said. But according to Solskjaer, his future's not yet been decided. Good chance we're going to offload De Gea in the summer. Because recent reports have said we're willing to listen to offers for De Gea. And yeah, we could sell him. So we can make Dean Henderson our first choice goalkeeper. We sell De Gea in the summer, I think we get around £50 million. So yeah. Let's put into the equation Solskjaer's inheriting players from other managerial eras. But Solskjaer has got rid of quite a few players Mourinho brought in. The vast majority of the players Van Gaal brought in are no longer at the club, but there's still some players here from the Van Gaal era. You know, we've got Mata still here from the David Moyes era. And there's only 2 here now from the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and that's De Gea and Phil Jones. Jones is the only outfield player, though, that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So anyway, guys, what was your thoughts on tonight's game? Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.